Okay guys, here is the day. I'm very excited about that. This is my first video in my new channel called Coffee Press, and probably you already know the main subject of this channel is to talk about WordPress. We talk a lot about many stuffs, and in this first video my main idea is to show to you how you can create a new plugin using the ACF, the Advanced Custom Fields. I am Donini, just a normal developer who wants to spread your ideas and knowledge about the WordPress development and the WordPress world, and I'll be your host. So I'd like to mention that this video is the first video about a series of other videos that we talk about how to create this plugin using the ACF plugin as your main feature. We'll talk about how to create a custom post, we'll talk about how to design fields, how to export these fields to use inside our own plugin, how to validate if the ACF plugin is active, and we'll talk about the class structure, which is really important, and talk about the folders and files and stuff like that. And of course, we talk about a little bit about styles and JavaScript to have a good presentation and a few more dynamic features inside of this plugin. So I would like to present to you the ACF plugin, and if you don't know what is ACF plugin, you really should to take a look about that, because it's one of the greatest plugins that you have today in the market. With the ACF you can create a new meta boxes, and inside this meta box you have a great variety of elements that you can use, like text area, range, checkbox, radio box, selects, drop downs, of course, true and false, button groups, file, and gallery, image, white zig jitters, color field, date picker, date time pickers, Google Maps, which is really awesome. You just type some address and the plugin saves the location information, like the latitude and the longitude, and a lot of other, like the repeater and the tabs and the flexible content, which is awesome, really great. We can create content and drag and drop, just drag and drop inside the WP admin the position that you want to show that content, and this will display automatically on the front end. So I think that's it. This is the main presentation about the ACF plugin. Probably you already have noted that I am a huge fan of this plugin, and we can create new fields on demand. You can imagine something like, oh, today I need to create this feature and deploy this feature, but tomorrow I need to increase or append a new element or a new field inside this group of fields, or even create a new group of fields. So we can create this on demand. When we want to create, we can do this inside this plugin. And of course, we can put this anywhere inside our WordPress installation. So we can create in the backend using the WP admin to create new fields, and we can show this inside our theme or inside our plugin, whatever we want to show. I am a huge fan of this plugin, and it's very important to mention that this is not a sponsored video, but I really like it. I don't know, most of my WordPress projects I use this plugin because it's really awesome, it's really easy, and when you catch the idea of the ACF fields, you can do anything that you want to do inside your project. So the ACF plugin is not only a visual plugin that you create custom fields inside your WP admin. As a developer, you can use and take in advance many features that you have to use inside our themes or inside our plugins, like I already said to you. We have two versions of this plugin: the free version, which is a little bit limited, and we have the pro version with all the fields. Let's get started. So I would like to share with you the main requirements of this project. So I think in something that can be used for you in your websites, and the requirements is something like this. The main idea is to display a message for the users in determinate pages of the website. So we can choose if we want to show, for example, on the home page or on some internal page or on all of the pages, and we can choose basic styles of this message. For example, we can choose the text color, the background color, and maybe the padding of this element inside this box. We can choose, of course, the position of these meshes, if we show this at the top or at the bottom. And of course, the user needs to have the ability to close this message if they want to close and don't see anymore. And to do this, we use a little bit of JavaScript to save inside the cookie of the browser. So when the user return to the website, the user will not see anymore this message because they already know about that. Okay. So in another information, this project is on my GitHub, so you can get access and see the evolution of this plugin across the videos that we'll publish on the Coffee Press channel. Okay, so now the main idea is to create the plugin structure, and to do this, as you are trying to create a message system, probably our custom post type will be called message. So I normally start using something like to create a new folder to put my includes inside of it, and inside of this folder I need to create a new file called class cp message.php message. And inside of this, of course, as I am registering a new class, I need to define this class. Oops. So once we have the class registered, we can define our custom post type. So to do this, we need to define a public function message custom post. And to register the post type, we have the register post type function, which is a default function of WordPress. Register post type. And the first parameter is the name of the custom post type, which will be message. And we need to define a few arguments for this new custom post. To do this, we need to define an array. And in this first array, normally I like to define the plural label, the plural name for my custom post, and the name in singular. So this is why I am registering this new array here. Okay, and for this we need to define the name, which will be, of course, messages, and the singular name, which in this case will be only message. Okay, cool. So now we need to define a few more arguments to register our custom post type. So for example, we need to define the public if our custom post type, if our new post type is public, of course, which is true. We need to define if this new custom post type has an archive, which is true again. and we need to define if this custom post type is curable. If you don't know what is this, is something like if you try to search in your browser, in the browser for your domain slash message, something like that, the WordPress will try to find internally something to show this custom post. And my idea is not to show this, and of course not index this type of posts inside the search engines that we have today. So for this, we need to set this argument here, which is public carable as a false. And other information, we need to define which are custom posts, which fields will support our custom posts. So in this case, the default WordPress fields that we need to use inside our custom post will be the title, the content, the editor, of course, is the name editor, and the page attributes. And I'll explain later why we are attributes. Oh. So, and the last thing we need to define is what is the name of the slug for a custom post type, which will be message in this case. I like to align my code, so if you want to know what are the extensions I am using in the VS Code, let me know. I can make a video for this. Okay, so also have the code to create our new custom post. We need to register this custom post inside our plugin. And to do this, we will create a new constructor function. And define inside of this construct the hook that we will register the new custom post type. So to do this, we need to add this new action, and we try to append this function inside the init event, and we need to define our function here. So the name of our function is this one, message custom post. Okay, cool. So now we have our custom post ready to work. We just need to register and start a new instance of our class. I will not type all of this code right here. I will get this code from another plugin that I have built a few days ago, and paste the code directly here, and I can explain to you later if you want to have more info about that. So to start our instance of our plugin, we just need to define this instance, and we are ready to go. So this is not a plugin already. We need to create the main file of this plugin. So I will create a new file under the root, like with the same name of the folder, of course, coffee press.php. And inside of this file, I will put the documentation of my plugin. Let's try, for example, the name of the plugin, it's coffee press. The URL of the plugin, I really don't know, I put my website there. The description is to a few tips for the WordPress developers. The text domain will be Coffee Press. And of course, the name of the package will be CP, will be Coffee Press. Now we need to test a few things if your plugin is working fine. For example, you need to test if the main file of the plugin will not be accessible directly. And to do this, we need to define the ABS path to test if the ABS path is defined. ABS path. If not, we need to escape this. Okay, another important thing, we need to include our class, the class we have created, the message custom post type. And to do this, we need to require the file. Normally, I like to create something like a new constant to use only this constant to have the path of my plugin. So I will define something like a coffee press path, and I will use the plugin dir path to pass this. So now I can take in advance this constant and just include my my class. The directory is inc class.cp.message.php. Okay, now we can test if your plugin is ready to run. Let's activate the plugin and see what's happening. So here we go. Now we have the message system. Let's add a new message. So we have the title, the editor, and the post attributes like we set on the subparts of this custom post. Cool. Now we are ready to start creating the fields that will support this message system. So let's take a look on the project requirements that we define for this plugin. So we need to show the message in certain pages or in all of the pages. We need to define, for example, the color of the text and color of the background. We can define, for example, the padding to define the size of the box. Also, we can define if the message will appear at the top or at the bottom. And of course, the main idea is to show just once, just one time for the user. So if the user hit the close button, we need to save inside the cookies, the local cookies that the users already seen this message, and the system will not display anymore this message for the user. So let's try to create these fields for the message system. So I am supposing that you already have the ACF plugin installed in your local environment. So we can go now to the custom fields, add new. We need to define the name of this group field, which will be message info. And we can add our fields. So we need to decide which page will be display this message, if it will be on all the pages or in a specific page. So we need to create a field to show this. So here I will define something like show where. This will be a radio button. The first value will be all pages, and the second is something like a specific page. Okay, the default value is all the pages. So if the user selects the option in a specific page, we need to show a field to the user select what is the page that he wants to show. So we can create something like what page, and select the option page link. With this, the user can select all the post types that we have registered inside this environment, or we can define what are the post types that the users can select in this case. And to show this field only if the user select the option specific page, we can use the feature conditional logic inside the ACF plugin. In this case, we want to show only for any specific page. We set as a requirement of this project other fields like the background color, which in this case is a color picker, and I will set the default value, the color red, and the text color. In this case is a color picker as well. Here the color is white, and we have the padding. So what is the distance from the text to the border of the box? So I will set the text padding field. In this case, it's a number. Okay, the default value is 0. I like to maintain the quality of the fields that I create, so I will set these fields as a required field, and the text color as a required field, and the padding as a required field. Another feature that we have in these fields on ACF is to define the size of each field inside the meta box. So here we have the last three fields are small fields. So I can define something like a 33% for each field. So they will appear aside each one on the meta box. 33, 33, and 33. The other important info that we need to define is what is the post type that you want to show this group of fields. In our case, it's very simple. The post type is message, and that's it. Now let's publish our group of fields, and then go back to the message menu, add new, and see if our fields are here. Cool, all of our fields are here. So we have the title. This is only to organize the messages inside the list, and we have the editor, the content, which will be the content of the message, of course, and we can define if the message will appear in all the pages or in a specific page. If we define the specific page, we can select inside our system some of the pages that we have created. We can define the color as well with this rich color picker, and the color of the text, and the same applies to the padding, which in this case is a number. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much that we have for today, and let me know if you have some ideas in the comments below about how to create good plugins using something as a support like the ACF. And to keep me motivated and creating new videos, hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the new videos. In the next episode, we will learn how to export these fields from ACF inside our own plugin, and a few little more stuffs related to this. See you guys next time.